A derecho is very likely to happen over in Minnesota. We'll also see some large hail and the possibility of a few tornadoes. So let's talk about today's forecast. First, we're going to jump straight into the models. We're going to go through most of the convection allowing so I can give you a bigger picture of what the models are showing. So for the HRRR, let's go look at that right now. We're at 18Z. Today is July 28th, Monday at 3 o'clock. And the 18 Zulu runs just came out. So let's take a look at our severe weather. We are under a moderate risk today, level 4 out of 5. And what's really driving this threat is when there's a 45% wind risk, which is extremely high. And it's also a 10% significant wind threat, which is extremely high. Tornadoes, only about a 5% is issued right now. Not going to see a whole lot of tornadoes. And then hail. So let's look at where exactly all this is going to happen. Let's start with the NOM nest, the NOM 3 kilometer. This is the model I like to use. It seems to be more accurate around this time of year. So if we go through, in just a few hours, it's showing a couple supercells firing up, maybe producing some hail, wind, a tornado. And then there'll be more, and it'll cluster up to a little bit of this linear line right here of storms before it goes. And as you can see right here, it gets really strong right as it enters the Minnesota area. And then as it approaches eastern Iowa, it starts to weaken. And then as it exits Iowa and gets into Illinois, it'll significantly weaken, but there'll still be some strong winds, maybe a derecho, maybe not. We're just looking at very strong winds with a little bit of a bowing segment right there. So it's going to be, according to the NOM 3 kilometer, we're going to see right in here is where our most significant wind is going to be. So let's go look at the HRRR, my second favorite convection allowing model. So as we can see here, there'll be little tiny cells firing more closer to the panhandle here in Nebraska. And we'll see these cells here producing some hail, maybe some wind. And then it'll move off, and it'll move off to our more north than what the NOM was saying earlier. And it won't be a derecho, it's just saying that there's going to be a cluster of strong wind and hail producing cells, maybe a few brief spin-up tornadoes. And then as it approaches Wisconsin and Iowa, it'll be very outflow dominant, a little elevated, which will make the tornado risk here almost non-existent. It's showing a little bit of a bowing segment there, but I doubt it'll be anything super serious. Maybe some 60-mile-an-hour winds on a couple of the cells in here before it tapers off and basically goes to nothing as it goes into Illinois. If we go look at our other models, let's start with the NSSL. So you can see here it's showing very similar to how the NOM was saying. We're seeing cells fire right around here, and then it'll taper off into a line of stars right around here with a couple bowing segments actually. So it's showing a derecho right around in here, and then as it approaches Iowa, it'll taper off. If we look at the Rufus and the experimental model, look at 18Z, it's showing cells firing right around here, and then becoming a little bit of a derecho right around here, and then tapering off as it gets over there. So the pattern that we're seeing, we'll look at one more model. The pattern that we're seeing is supercells firing right around in here, and then as it approaches Minnesota, we'll see derecho happening. This one's showing it more of a northerly path, and then it'll start tapering down more south. I doubt this is exactly what it's going to look like. So let's take a quick look of what I'm expecting. What I'm expecting is supercells to fire right around in here, based off of the conditions, somewhere right around in here. And they're going to track their way east towards Minnesota. And once they reach Minnesota, we might have a derecho, or close to a derecho, very strong winds, up to maybe even 100 mile an hour on the strongest storms. And as it approaches Illinois, it'll completely taper off. That is what most of the models, generally speaking, are saying. It'll be somewhere right around in that region. So if you live anywhere in southern Minnesota, northwestern Iowa, or even a little bit here in the South Dakota and the tip right over here in northeast Nebraska. Be very, very, very weather aware. And as the Storm Prediction Center is saying, it's saying right around in here is where the strongest winds chance of derecho is going to be. I'm believing the cells start firing right over here, track our way here, and then we'll have our derecho or close to a derecho event start somewhere right around in here, this area, and they'll start to weaken as it gets right over here, somewhere right in this area. That is my forecast for today. Let's go take a quick look at what the Weather Prediction Center is showing for excessive rainfall. It is a slight risk of excessive rainfall in this area. This is actually exactly where I believe the majority of the line of storms to be, right in this yellow area, and it taper off. So this is actually, in my opinion, exactly what I believe the actual storms, severe storms, will be like. So it just happens to coincide with the excessive rainfall. And the Weather Prediction Center is showing lots and lots and lots of rain chance today. 3 inches of rain here in central Iowa. So if you get flash flood warnings anywhere around in this area, please take it very seriously, especially if you're in a flood prone area. So the GFS is showing highs up here when the supercells start firing, right around 100 to 105 here in central Nebraska and the surrounding area. And then tomorrow we're looking at a similar pattern, but from central Nebraska all the way down to Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas. You need to be taking that very seriously. And even a little bit here in California, right around this area, that's very high heat. Look around for extreme heat warnings and things like that. But it'll be dry, which is good. It'll be dry around this area, so it won't be as bad. But up here in Iowa, it's going to be extremely humid today. We look at the dew points, and it is showing dew points to be in the upper 70s and 80s. So if for some reason the forecast does change a little bit and we don't see as many outflow dominant storms, these dew points will really aid in tornado genesis. So, but right now, Storm Prediction Center just is what I'm agreeing with, showing just a very little tornado chance over here, and as it approaches around this area, the line of storms will be fizzled out and not do anything. But basically anywhere in here we could see tornadoes, really, and I agree with that very strongly. So hot week, start of the week today, and derecho probably going to happen somewhere, or very close to a derecho happening. This is the weather forecast for the day. If you have any questions, please leave them down in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, and check out Gear Elkader Coffee Roaster. Thank you.